Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Welcome. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Hey,
My
I'm
thoughts
hosting.
died.
I bring up the intro. So, in light of that, welcome to Almost a Podcast. This is Sean, and today I have Colton and Michael.
Hi.
And honestly, I kind of forgot how I was gonna start this podcast. But I will say, I'll tell you something I was doing recently.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Today, I combed carpet
Why
for
did,
most
why,
of the day.
Why did you do that? How does that
And
even?
let me tell you why.
Comb carpet like
Because-
like a cat?
So, I moved into this apartment, a couple weeks ago, and did the initial shopping, and I bought a blanket, one of those kind of really nice,
Soft?
not microfiber, but like really soft blankets. And like,
Yeah.
oh, this is gonna be nice for an extra thing on the bed or just on the couch, whatever.
Absolutely.
Bought this thing, and I bought some towels, some bath towels. And I'm like, okay, so new stuff. I'm just gonna wash everything. I throw it in the wash, throw it in the dryer, get out of the dryer, and the things are like destroyed.
What?
I have this gray.
Oh.
It's a gray blanket, like a light gray blanket, and I have two like darker gray towels. And
Yeah.
this gray blanket has just burred and rubbed off on everything. So this little pill, like it's still an intact
pills.
blanket, but like these little tiny, fur balls everywhere.
Yeah. Destruction.
And I had to on the towels themselves, I had to lay out on the floor, and I spent like an hour just like picking things off individually. And then today I was like, I just had this blanket sitting in a corner, like haven't used it because it's still covered in those things as well. So today I thought, you know what? I'm just going to spend the day doing that. I get it. And then I realized, wait, what if I used a comb on this?
So like a hair comb, right?
It actually
like a hair
works.
comb. And I got a new one recently, so it wasn't used or anything. And I just spread out this blanket on the ground and just started like combing the blanket for like an hour.
It sounds like
both sides.
There's got to be a better way.
And I think it was the best way. Like
think so?
I tried. I'm like, oh, you know what? We should help with this.
Oh,
A lint roller. Do
it
roll
did
that?
nothing?
Nothing.
Oh.
You
Do you
don't
not have a
to do anything.
vacuum?
Nope, no vacuum yet. It's on my list of things
that
to
needs
do.
to be done. You got like a month or so,
Yep.
but
Welcome to
Eventually.
getting into a new apartment. I
I have
fortunately
like a
brought
mop
a vacuum.
thing, or like a Swiffer, but
Yeah, no, we got to get is I got one of the I went a little up there, but it was one of like the little Dysons, the handheld Dysons.
I was thinking
They're-
about one of
they're
those
pricey,
too
but
because
they're really
they're
nice.
pricey, but they're awesome.
Yeah.
My parents have a handheld vacuum that I convinced them to get, and that was awesome. So I want something similar, but I'm kind of spend it out right now.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna
gotta
wait
for
until
next
a
week's
couple
paycheck.
paychecks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what I spent my day doing. That was, yeah. Today I was like cleaning and then combing a
rug.
blanket.
What a great weekend activity. Just combing your rug.
new apartment life. So
Yeah.
now I don't know, and I never want to wash the thing again because I don't know if it'll ruin it.
I've had
Right.
that happen to blankets that I've had as well, and it's awful. It's like now not even our most used blanket. Now it's our secondary blanket. It's our
I
sub
don't know
blanket.
if it was just the quality of the blanket or because I mixed the towels with the blanket.
Yeah, so it got all effed up.
Yeah,
knows?
I don't know.
Now you know.
I still have another bath towel to do as well.
Yeah. Although those
Adult
blankets
packs.
are totally worth it. Honestly, I've got
Really
one.
nice
Those really
blankets,
soft
yeah.
ones, yeah.
I think I use it more than like. Honestly, I'll just wrap myself up in that thing and not even like use my bed sheets. I'll sleep on top of my bed, but
Oh,
wrap
hell yeah.
myself in one of those super soft blankets.
That's so nice. Yeah.
It is, especially in the wintertime when it's freezing.
Yesterday I also went shopping and I got these pillows for my couch. And it's
Super
like one of
soft
those
pillow, it looks like.
super soft pillows.
Looks like it needs
you can just sit on this and it's the best thing ever.
You know you're an adult when
Recycle?
you get excited about pillows.
Oh, dude,
yeah,
right?
I'm getting so old in the sense that that I'll buy
I like furniture now.
like right now I'm looking for furniture. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I need to find just the right bookcase.
yeah.
Like it's gotta
Yeah,
be.
it's got to be match the aesthetic. It can't be out of place. It's got a purpose.
Yeah. And I was going like I got my dresser because it was just super basic, hidden away at Target, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a mistake, I think. It's not the best build quality, but it does the job, and it was pretty cheap. But a bookshelf is going to be more on display, and it's going to be, I need it to be the right size for the things I want to put on it. And I'm to the point now where I'm driving around and I'll see a store and be like, oh, I bet they have good bookcases.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you
like,
are.
There's like
it's
a world market.
Adulting,
I'm like, oh,
I wonder
should
what kind
go to
of
world market. And look
Do you have
for
an
a bookcase.
IKEA?
Yeah.
There is an IKEA, so I could go there.
IKEA would be the best
But-
place, I think, for cheap stuff.
It could be. I got this. I have my like entertainment center.
Yeah.
Which is like has like a floating TV stand on it, and I got that at Best Buy actually for a really good price.
Oh, that's not bad.
I was really surprised at how good it is. I really like it. So I'm just going everywhere looking for furniture now.
you're
But
adulting
it gets to
now,
the point where I'll buy a piece of furniture and go, you know what? Not doing anything else for the week.
Next, you're going to Pottery Barn.
Pottery Barn. You gotta get some Get some plants.
Oh, you should.
Every time I walk by
Yeah.
the plants at Target, I'm like, oh, I should get a plant.
I need plants in my apartment, but now I'm so close to potentially moving to a new apartment that it's like might as well just wait at this point.
Yeah.
I don't want real plants though. Do you want real plants?
I could do
gotta have
both.
real
I
plants.
think starting with real plants could be really nice as long as they were low maintenance, but I don't know. A lot of the real plants like are better. Like I like the design of them more. They look cooler.
I've seen a lot of good looking fake plants
the fake
recently.
plants, I don't know. I haven't found a good fake plant that just speaks to me, you know? I want something
gotta
You know
get a
my
succulent.
favorite fake plant so far is this little thing that I'm pointing to on my entertainment
Is
center.
it
like
made
a
out of like
bonsai?
Legos?
It's a little bonsai tree made out of Legos.
Like, hey, wow. Honestly,
Dude,
I want
as
a
a
real
kid-
bonsai tree. I want a real one.
And they have green leaves, and you can also switch them out to pink leaves for like cherry blossoms.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
If I wanted to, it's
like,
so
what-
cool, and
whatever.
you can turn the arms and all the leaves and everything if you wanted to.
Yeah. Every
So
April.
that's the best thing.
Every April, you just swap the leaves out. You're like, all right, springtime. Cool.
Or just get another set and then just replace the total set itself.
Did you have two bonsai?
Yeah, no.
I also, one more story about my new apartment, and another reason why I'm spend it out. That is because I was talking to you guys yesterday about TVs,
Yeah. Oh, did you get one?
and I ended up just getting a new TV. Like
You did get a new TV?
I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I was standing in Best Buy for a while, just looking at TVs, and you know what, I think it's time TV upgrade.
Well, what'd you get?
So that one's my new TV, and it's a 55-inch, the same one you have, Colton. Actually,
Yeah, the
That was
LG?
the C1,
the C1?
LG.
Oh, man, you gotta love that
I
thing.
was debating between it and the Vizio one.
Nah.
There's a Vizio OLED as well. And all the comparisons, they're almost identical, but there was a couple things about the LG that I liked more. And it wasn't too much more expensive, so I just went with that.
I'll tell you
Was
what.
it like the
when I-
bezel?
The same bezel. I mean, they're almost
They're
identical.
super similar, like as
Really?
far as thickness and everything too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, when I went to Best Buy and I talked to the guy and I was like, "Hey, I want an OLED TV," and we were talking about it, he was giving us all the specs. He said he hated Vizios. He's like, "Don't ever get a
is
Vizio."
that?
Apparently, quality control on them is bad. I don't have any
I can
research
believe
on
that.
this, but he said Vizios are trash. Every Vizio TV is trash. Blah 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 blah. Get the LG. You'll like it. So, I think you'll like it, Sean. I think that was the right choice.
I already do like it.
It's
but I'll
amazing.
tell you,
It's so good.
I'm going to tell you the story though of getting it, because one of the things I've learned about living in an apartment alone is you're alone.
You
There's
are.
a lot of things that are easier to do if you have more than one
Oh,
person.
Like bring a TV into your apartment.
One of which is bringing a TV
Yeah.
home
And
and
not-
putting it on a floating TV stand.
Yeah. Yep.
I was the most nervous I've ever been in a long time putting this TV on my stand. First, I have to get it in. Okay. Let's say from the beginning. I buy this TV, right? I drive a very small 2-door Jeep. All right.
Old
Oh, and it
Wrangler.
won't fit.
2-door Jeep Wrangler.
Does that fit?
And
No.
in my head, I thought, I got this. No problem.
Oh man. Yeah.
I had meant to bring like a measuring tape and do it, but I
You're like,
forgot
nah,
that.
it'll
But,
work.
I
It's
got
a
it.
Jeep.
I have I had a 48-inch TLC TV that can fit, no problem. In my head, I was visualizing the space. I'm like, it fits.
Well, to be fair, the box.
We wheel it out to the what?
The box is way bigger too. So the
Yeah.
box
Yep.
gives you
Yeah,
like
it
an
is.
extra 10 inches. So when I got my new
you're
TV,
right.
a small aside, it was like 10 inches bigger than I thought it was gonna be. It was
And you
wildly
drive a
big.
hatchback too, right?
Yeah.
Well, you got a bigger TV.
I got a
so
bigger
there's
TV.
no way your TV would have fit in my Jeep. Absolutely no way.
My TV didn't fit even in my own car, and I had a hatchback. So like, I got to quick tangent. I went and bought my TV from Best Buy. I went to bring it home. Maybe you have a similar outcome to this, but they're just like, yeah, we can't fit it in there. So I bought this TV, and I couldn't bring it home that day, and I was so mad. I was so mad.
See, I bought the TV, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll fit. Wheel it out, bring the thing up, and the guy was like, if you want to do it, it's up to you. And we were like moving it in, and I can let the back seat down, and the front seat forward, and like get it in. So it was most of the way in, but it was still sticking out of the back by like 10 inches.
Oh,
and I was like thinking, I'm like, okay, so what are delivery options? Like, what am I looking at here? And he's like, it'd probably be, at least a couple days. And I'm like,
you're like,
man,
no, that's not worth it.
I really want this
I
to
know.
put this in tonight.
When you're that close.
Did you put the front seat down too, like the passenger side
front
seat?
seat down. And so then I realized, you know what? Well, let's just try. So let's try a little bit longer. So eventually we got it in, but at an angle, and I had to put the front seat forward to get it all the way in, and then you lift up one end and put the front seat back, and it's resting on the front seat. So this thing barely fit in my car. I'm gonna see if I can show you this picture here. It's me.
Yep.
Like it's just barely
It's like
in
your
there.
passenger. I mean, at least it was in there.
I got it in, and I'm like, I didn't live too far from the Best Buy. I'm like, less than 2 miles down the road.
Right. Easy.
It's almost a straight line, like 2 turns. I'm driving like really slow.
Yep.
Like no bumps. I get there, get to my parking garage. Then I got to get it to my room. Okay.
Yeah, you're like, shoot.
Now I can carry a TV, right?
Right.
It didn't weigh much, but this is a big, bulky box. And so I had to like do 3 or so trips where I would just like pick it up and walk, 150 feet, and then put it down for a bit, and then like walk again. And eventually I get it in my room. All right. So we're in, good. But then I have to get this thing on my TV stand.
Precision
And that
is needed.
That's one of the most
Yeah. Did you have like one hand?
nerve-wracking things. I'm like nervous thinking about this because I wasn't anticipating how thin this OLED is.
Oh yeah, it's thinner than your cell phone. That thing.
What?
Like
It
half
is.
as thin as the cell phone.
Yeah, it's way
so
thinner than your cell
incredibly
phone.
thin.
The TV is. Yeah.
That's nuts.
Like the top portion. There's like the bottom portion of it where it like kind of extends, and that's where the speakers and everything are, and the power. But the top half of the TV is paper thin.
It's weird. It's unreal how thin it is.
And when I saw that, I thought,
oh
no,
like
I have a problem
that shit
now.
will bend. Like you can bend it, and it will like bend the TV will itself.
So I'm like, how do I get purchase on this by myself? Because like I have a full wingspan here, and I'm 6 feet tall, so I have about a 6 foot wingspan here.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy thing to lift in the sense that like, sure I can lift it, but I have no precision.
You got a precision.
I can't
put it
see
on
what's
there.
going
Yeah.
on. You really need 2 people, one on either side, and you hang and hook, no problem. Oh my god! I for a while I was debating like, do I think I can do this by myself? Like, should I get somebody over here to help me do this? But I was like, you know what? I think I probably can, and I spent a while like figuring out how to do it. And I reached out, I grabbed it, I balanced it on one knee, right? So then I got a little higher. And you really have to be careful about holding this from the bottom because the top will snap in half. If you put any weight on it.
Yeah.
If you like. So I had to hold it from the bottom, and it just felt so like delicate, where I didn't want to grab it from anywhere other than like the absolute
specified
bottom
spot with thickness. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if it's that
So,
thin.
oh my god, I'll send you a picture of how thin it is, but it's. Oh my god, I was so nervous. Like I rested on the TV. I got it up onto the entertainment center, and just resting. And I'm like, oh my god, like what? do I stop?
Do I keep going?
That's funny.
And then because so how my TV stand work, if no one's ever hung like a TV on like a TV stand, you have two bars in the back usually, and then that you have to rest onto a horizontal bar that then kind of like hooks on, and then it then is resting against it. So you can't see the back of this thing when I'm holding it. So I have to go up and like try and hit the hook at the right spot, and then the first time I missed. Like I was like, is it on? Like I don't know.
Fell,
and
then
Yep.
well, I was like really slowly. I didn't ever let go of this thing, and even when I actually got it on, I felt it was on. I was like, I had like a hand underneath it, and like
make sure it didn't
peeking around
fall.
to
For
check.
safety.
Oh my god, it was so stressful.
Yeah.
But then I finally got it in, plugged in, hooked up, and now I'm happy. Now it's great.
Good.
And actually, last night when I did that, I sat down and watched like a movie or something, and it was the first time
beautiful.
like, you know what? My apartment is complete now.
Yep.
You know, I felt like
And you
I
get your
felt
couch
good
too, right? Because remember last time
I was on my
we
couch.
talked
I was
about
watching
this.
the thing. And I was
You're like,
so
oh,
good.
now you can cast like all your shows to it. You
Yep.
like you
Yeah, it
can
was-
cast stuff to it now. That's great.
I did realize I really don't like the OS though. The local
really?
smart TV OS.
It's not as good as the TCL. TCL's got a good OS, I think.
Yeah.
the TCL's just the Roku.
it's the
so-
Roku.
I think
Yeah.
I think the Chromecast is the best because it's just all right, boom, cast it. Don't have to worry about anything on the TV. It's all done from your phone, right?
Right.
But I mean, that's what we had. So, you know, you guys are talking about TV shopping. I haven't shopped for a TV since sophomore year of college when we got our
Yep,
TV.
that was the last
Colton.
time I did it too.
And I'm like,
yeah.
because we
Wait,
got
didn't
that big 55-inch 1080, and we're like, okay, we need like the cheapest but also quality TV we can find, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even have. Yeah, I think I don't know where that one is now. I think I gave it to my mom or something because she needed a TV.
Yeah.
Spoil. Yeah. But yeah, like I don't even have a TV anymore.
I needed to order. I actually ordered last night the Roku Ultra.
Oh, like the
So
stick
it's like
thing?
a little set top thing. It was either that or Nvidia Shield. You know, because I'm.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I really
Gamer.
liked Roku's. What do you call
Their
it?
UI,
I
yeah.
really like how it looked and felt. So I just ordered one of those and then plugged that in, and then that'll just be like the default input.
Yeah.
It's up. And now I gotta say about TVs nowadays, I love how connected everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can just press the button on the Roku remote, and then it
And then
starts up the
switch.
TV, and
Yeah.
everything works.
It like switches the
I
input
don't need to
too.
carry around 7 remotes with me.
Yeah.
Or you don't have to fuck around with a universal remote where you have to like get it all
it's just-
connected and
it just
everything. Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Do you like how the remote is like a Wiimote, Sean? How you can like click things? Are you not into that?
Yeah,
I like
kind
it.
of.
I think it's
mean,
cool.
It's helpful in some situations, and then, but I don't like how it just stays on the TV for a little bit. You know,
Stays on the
like
TV.
I wish I knew how to get rid of it.
Just immediately?
Mhm.
It's only like
Yeah,
5 seconds. That'll go away.
yeah, it's not long, but it's one of those things, you know.
But if you remove the remote, it'll like pull it up and yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
and there's some apps I use that I didn't like how you navigated on them.
I see.
So that's why I wanted to get the Roku Ultra. So it lets me navigate in the way that I like to. So
Yeah.
like, there's no way to fast forward on the LG remote.
Can you just
There's
press,
no like dedicated fast forward button.
Can you just press the right button? Press the
Yeah.
right. directional button.
In some apps though, that doesn't fast forward. That just like in YouTube, for example, that just like moves one.
What if
That's
you hold
or
it
the
down?
10
10-second
seconds.
skip. Yeah.
Yeah,
If you hold it down though.
it's just I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's
It's
fine.
one of those things where like, you know, Urk Ultra is not that much in comparison to the cost of the TV.
Yeah,
It's
it's
fine,
easy.
you
It's
know?
easy to get. Well, that was a good.
And I block most of the features anyway on this
Oh,
LG
Yeah.
because of how I block network traffic in my house. So,
Mhm. IT.
you know, it's
goodness.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah, that was a good story, but I think it would have been way better if it crashed down, like you got it all set up, and then all of a sudden it just plastered down.
Wow, Colton.
That would have
I
been
ruined
hilarious.
my investment.
That would have been
Yep.
hilarious.
I gotta say, I'm happy though with the purchase because I now, although it's got a con. So now everything looks so good, right? Like the TV. Before I I got this TV.
Yeah.
The TV was the limiting factor in the quality of the things that I watched.
Yep.
So
Sure.
I had a 4K TV, but something, the blacks didn't look great, and it was not cheap. It was cheap TLC.
Right.
Now, the content is the limiting factor in what I watch. So I'll watch things and it's so clear that I'll go, that doesn't look right.
Right. Yeah. You'll be like, that's
just
special
and I
effects.
can't do better. It's just
And
the
anything in
content.
1080p looks like, it's peasant. You can't
like peasantry,
can't watch anything
yeah.
in 1080p. It has to be in 4K Ultra HD. Dude, I
I'm
remember
really
that.
excited because tonight I'm going to watch Dune
Oh, that should
Blu-ray
be
quality.
really good. That should
Yeah.
be really beautiful.
with my surround sound, everything. Oh,
Right.
I'm really, because on my old TV, I tried watching the Dune, and I'm like, you know what? I'm
Doesn't
not
do it
getting the
justice.
same feeling,
Yeah.
But I turned it on just a little bit last night, and I thought, you know what? I'm getting the same movie experience here.
yeah.
So this is good.
Do you guys remember the transition from like 480 to actual HD? Because I remember that pretty clearly. Like when I first got my first HD TV.
Funny.
Yeah. Pretty clearly.
Clearly? Shut the fuck up.
That was a perfect opportunity. Just be like,
It
yeah.
was.
You did not realize what you did.
I think I was watching, I think it was NCIS. This was like, years and years ago, right? And I remember first like turning on HD. This wasn't even like full HD. This was 720p.
720, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From like, went from...
Even still, though, that's a big difference.
Yeah, because we went from like an old, CRT to the HD plasma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, you're like, wait, this feels like almost too real. Like I can like see like the makeup on people now, and I can like see, yeah,
See
and
their
like,
eyelashes.
oh,
There was
this
a
is, like, too
while when
real.
people had to transition and like get better makeup or effects that make it look better.
Yeah.
And like now in 4K, you're like, oh my gosh, like I find it almost distracting watching anything in 4K. I have to watch everything in 1080p, or else it's like it's too
Really?
real.
That's
Yeah.
odd.
No, I need it now sharp because of now the sharpness of this TV. I'll watch something in 1080 and go, that doesn't look right.
Yeah, that's quality.
it's
Peasant.
just-
That's peasantry.
But then I'll get something that's like really made for 4K, and I go like, oh
Yeah.
that looks good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's funny.
it's really nice to experience. That.
I got my new 4K TV, and honestly, most of the stuff we've been watching is in 480p. It's actually quite hard. It's actually quite sad to watch.
Watching
It's like
season
I see
3
it-
of Survivor.
Yeah, it's like I see all the pixels, and I'm like, all right, well, this is how it is.
Yep.
Every single pixel.
They're pretty good at upscaling nowadays, but like I have to really remove a lot of features because the problem with new TVs is there's so many of these new little features like, noise suppression and image upscaling and all these things.
Yeah.
And really, I have to disable most of them, if not all of them, because it'll do stuff to the footage that I don't want to see.
Yeah,
it'll do like a small glitch, and I notice things like that, and it really puts it off. So I have to disable.
Makes you a good
all.
editor though.
I try, but it's I should watch some of my videos because I make videos in
should.
4K.
You
so
could see, yeah.
Oh gosh.
All
You'd
our,
be like,
all our,
oh, you cringe.
there's a glitch there.
see how it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun, kind of
Exploring.
building out my place
Yeah.
in the way that I want it to.
Yeah, you're
look
pretty much
and,
all-
and feel and be.
Yeah, you're pretty much all set now. You're like pretty much almost 100% moved in, yeah?
I really don't want to spend any more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Understandable.
Um,
Do you have enough pans
yeah,
though? Did you get
I-
that one pan that you're talking about? It's for the tonkatsu.
the Katsudon.
Katsudon. Yeah. Thank
Um,
you.
I did. It's not working the exact way I want it to. It cooks it way better, but the dismount I'm having issues with. So I need to figure out how that works, or maybe season the pan or something. But
Like sliding your goods into the rice bowl.
yeah, like it just sticks usually.
Oh,
So it kind of
interesting.
defeats the purpose.
Yeah, maybe seasoning it.
You got
might
to season
help.
it. Make sure to. It's
yeah, I
stainless
think
steel,
so.
right?
I think I need to. Yeah, stainless steel.
Yeah, so make sure to, what you do is like before, just take a piece of paper towel and then pour some oil in there, and then just take the towel quickly and just coat the pan with like a little thin layer of oil, and that should season it pretty well. And you do that enough times, and it'll just basically be naturally seasoned like a cast iron.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking of cooking bacon in it or something, but
That's not a good call.
that's a good way to do it with the oil. Yeah, I'll start doing that because
Although you want something unsaturated.
I really want it to the perfect dismount. 'Cause it's got the straight up handle. All I would need to do is go whoop, and then it's just all there. But I have yet to do that successfully. So we'll get there. We'll get there one day.
I have a Oh wow. Yeah, I have a fry pan, and it works out pretty well too. But that's fully non-stick. So, and I will say it's pretty satisfying to like do your okiyaki don or whatever it's called, and then like you put the egg in there and it solidifies everything, and then you just whoop.
Have you been making that recently?
I did. I actually made it last week, and I made it today because I had some leftover chicken and onions. So I did it, and it was great.
Nice.
It's such a good meal, and I make it. I've made it a lot.
It's also
recently.
it's also not unhealthy, which is great. It's not
it's
like
really
crazy.
healthy.
Yeah,
it's got like 4 or 5 ingredients, and I feel like it's weird because since I've been, I cook for myself now.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would have an issue with that, but it's nice knowing that I'm, able to do it. Mm-hmm. And I've been being very repetitive.
For now.
I actually went shopping yesterday to get a couple more ingredients and things to make, but I'm okay with being repetitive because what I'm making tastes good. Mm-hmm. So
and you optimize.
It works. Like I made oyakudon probably like 3 days in a row.
Oh, really?
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I eat it a lot.
Is that is that the chicken? It's oyakudon is like the chicken with the egg.
Yeah, like chicken bowl.
It translates to mother and child because it's chicken and egg, and then onion, and then usually do yellow onion and then green onion to garnish.
Top, yeah.
And then it's over rice.
Yep.
And then the onions and chicken cook in a mix of soy sauce, sake, dashi, and
aji mirin.
Have you been making your own dashi too? Or you just use the...
I have the stuff to make it, but I've been using like the powder recently. Because I don't want to make it and then not use it, so I'm waiting for a week to like...
Yeah, no, what we got to do is like... What I do with mine is I'll make it like a big container of it, and then you can freeze half of it and then put the other half in the freezer, and it lasts like 2 months if you just leave it in the fridge. So
yeah,
you don't worry about it. So then it's literally just seaweed, and if you can get the bonito flake.
Oh, I have bonito flakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have seaweed yet though. But I think you can just use bonito flakes.
I think the kombu adds something. It adds like that umami-ness because it's really high in the glutamic acid, right? So like basically what MSG is.
Yeah. MSG.
Next weekend I'll go to my I'll go to the Asian superstore this time next week. Because before I went to like just a Japanese one.
Oh, okay.
But it's pretty small.
Yeah.
But I think next weekend I'll go to like the big one, and that's just like Asian
all
in general.
Asian.
I imagine it's
foods.
gonna be more Chinese, but we'll see how it looks.
Yeah.
Speaking of Japanese, how's the Japanese lessons going along, Colton?
Yeah, they're going well. Got my first exam today, boys.
Yeah. Wait, I want to hear about like how this whole thing started, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because like you've been doing a couple things that you like tell us you're doing, but I just have not heard anything about, and I'm really curious.
Well, yeah, I've been doing it on the side. Like I started like way back, probably like a year ago, and I was like, I'm gonna do Japanese, but I was only on Duolingo, which is a language app for a bunch of different languages. It treats learning languages like a mini game, so it gives you XP. It gives you double XP if you do really well. You compete on leaderboards. Yeah, it's the one with the bird.
Double XP weekend for French.
Yeah, the bird is so annoying because like if you don't practice one day, he'll be like, "Hey, you didn't practice."
I've seen the memes about it.
It's like, why aren't you practicing? Like practice, or you're gonna lose your like leaderboard spot. And it's like you can get demoted if you don't practice enough because it's like they have leagues.
No.
It's
That's
like
great.
getting ranked in Fortnite or something. So when I didn't.
That sounds stressful.
I know. I did practice for three days, and the little bird pops up in my notifications, being like, "You're gonna get demoted if you don't."
You lost rank points. On the plus side, I mean, it's competitive. It makes it competitive, right? So it makes people who have that nature.
It's a good system. I think they have really, really good Spanish and French language courses. For Japanese, they're improving it. Right now, I'm just basically using it because I was doing Duolingo way back. I stopped after I learned a lot of hiragana and katakana because they just started throwing sentences at me with random kanji, and it was like frustrating because I didn't know how to decipher.
Yeah.
But now I'm taking a Japanese course through a community college, and that's been going great. But I also use Duolingo to relearn hiragana and katakana because they have a really good system for learning those letters now. So I do that, and then my Japanese course is like just a Zoom college course that I'm taking it on, and it's been pretty fun. The guy is Japanese. He can't speak very good English, which is actually great because he's just got
Good.
He's able to you're able to understand better if you say something in English that doesn't translate well, and then you realize, oh, the structures are this way, so that's why it's hard for him to understand this or something like that.
Because isn't Japanese? It's subject. It's like verb, subject, object, right?
It's
a totally different structure.
It is a totally different structure. I don't remember exactly what it was, but you are correct. It's a completely different structure. It's very intricate. I don't know. It's nice because it's very intricate and all the rules are laid out. Whereas English, there's so much wiggle room for different word sounds
so
and
much
stuff.
gray area.
But in Japanese, it's like, okay, you say this here, like this letter always sounds like this. You don't get sa doesn't sound like sa or say or any, like, depending on the word it's in. It's all very particular.
No, accent marks or
I feel
anything
like
that in
I
Latin
feel like
languages.
English as a language is still evolving, whereas Japanese as a language is pretty much done.
Yeah.
Like it
is fully
changes.
set. Yeah.
I remember my English teacher back in high school. He said that English beat up other languages in the back alley for spare syllables. I thought it was the best example of what English it is, because it is. I mean, it's a Germanic-based language,
it's an
right?
amalgamation of a lot of different things.
Yeah, and it pulls you got the French and like the Latin base, but then you pull
French.
random like Slavic based language influence. And it's just so much stuff all compared in one, right? It's really interesting. Although I do find
I would hate to learn English as a foreigner.
Oh,
it
absolutely,
must suck.
It
terrible.
would stink, I would think. Yeah.
And after learning that, I'm so much more I remember when I was younger, I'm like, oh, someone can't speak English, right? I'm like, okay, this is, it's something that I need to know how to speak English, right? And then my whole perspective shift for the better, right? Which is that actually language is English is a pain in the ass language to learn.
It's
And I'm
a pain to learn.
Anyone even attempting English, good for you, because so
Right.
I never fault anybody for speaking bad English. I usually don't necessarily like if someone's consistently if someone's always trying to improve and be better. I'm like, all right, this is good. But sometimes it's like English is just hard to learn. If I can get the gist of what you're trying to say, then we're fine.
Oh yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole point of language. Although I do remember, so I never really learned Japanese, right? But I always find languages, the structure of languages, really fascinating. Mm-hmm. I think it's what English, Japanese are some of the most distant languages from each other, right?
Yeah.
Where
way
there's a
separated.
scaling system. I think it's called it's A1 to A5, and I don't know. I may just be talking my ass here.
Is this proficiency in Japanese?
We're
You can do that.
yeah, so English, an A1 language to English would be Dutch. Something
okay.
It's kind of similar, but then A5, and that's Japanese. It's
It's
the
just-
furthest you can fold, because it's totally different structure, and it's also a syllabic language, meaning that instead of using alphabet, right, it's different syllables. And what's cool is it's phonetic.
Sounds.
So
basically, it's all
hiragana.
this, yeah.
Well, yeah, as you know, hiragana, you can write it out and you can say it. You don't have to worry about all that bullshit.
I really
you're talking
like
about.
that, actually.
It's
'cause
really
English
nice
sucks for
because
that.
you can just read. Once you learn the alphabet, you can just know how to read. Except for kanji, then whatever. But
Yeah,
it's
kind of
nice having that.
mess.
But it's weird because for the longest time I didn't know. You know how Japanese people will be they'll put you at the end of everything. I work in, or I'm an engineer, or if you have an orange, they're I have an orangey. But that's because all of their syllables have a vowel at the end of it. So you can't get away with that. If you were to say engineer, they don't end with R. You'd have to say engineer-a, engineer-e, engineer-u, or engineer-o.
Oh, interesting.
And
Based
it's another
on
thing
their
too.
writing system, because you can spell words with their alphabet, but since they all have a vowel attached to the end of it, you can't just end on an R. You have to put a vowel on the end of it. So that's why they always have that extra letter on the end of their words.
Interesting.
English words, at least.
I didn't know that.
Or
Yeah.
arigatou gozaimasu, but it's actually the SU,
Zamasu.
right?
Yeah,
And,
sometimes you leave off the
the
U, or
romanji?
or sometimes it's des, you say des after everything.
which is
And-
actually just
that's please,
DSU
I
and
think.
romanji, right?
Yeah, yep. So it's been
That is
fun.
really
I mean,
interesting.
It's the other weird thing that I'll leave off on is it's so weird when there's like a question and they ask you a certain question, but you have to reply. And depending on the context of the question, like what time is it? What's your occupation? Or what age are you? There's like there's a syllable after the thing that you say that's different for every different situation. So
well, isn't it ka, right? Ka is the question mark.
Ka's the question maker for a sentence. But if you're just like
Keska?
Yeah, if you're saying what's my occupation, I'll say, oh, I'm a engineer. I'll say engineeru or something like that. But if they say, hey, what's your age? I have to say the number and then add sai to it. So I have to say I am like nanasai desu. Sai means I'm replying to the age part of the question. But if I say time, sai is replaced with something else, like nanase. That's now the what is that? It's the thing that goes on the end of a word. There's a word for that.
A suffix.
Suffix.
Past participle or something like that.
It's different for all these different things, which is really confusing because I'm just trying to tell them what time it is, and I have to put this end participle or whatever on the end of it, and it's so confusing. And then sorry, one more thing because this is the most annoying thing. Numbers change depending on the context. So 7 is different depending on if you're saying what time it is or what age you are. It's nana if your age, but if you're telling them time, it's like shichiji. It's completely different, and I don't know why it exists.
Yeah.
That's
I remember
dumb.
that.
I gotta say, that's
I remember
a problem.
reading about that when we, before we first visited Japan, is that when you're telling someone the time or like using numbers, use different signals, right? For instance, like, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
And you count that up on your hand, but that's when you're counting to yourself. But if you're counting for like trying to tell someone else, it's actually a different set of hand signals. Like you do something like, I think it's like this, where you put the palm and then you do that. And
so then,
that was really fascinating too.
So thinking back then to our trip, were we saying things right sometimes? Like if someone would ask us how many people are going to be eating, and we say san for 3.
Probably not, but
probably
it's fine.
not. You probably are. You're probably supposed to say like sandes or something like that, like the ending.
That's probably
now.
why.
If we say san, they know that means 3. So
yeah, especially when you hold it 3 fingers.
But des,
usually
I think des is meant to be like ownership.
That's keiko, right?
Yeah, san gives you ownership, so it's not necessarily. We wouldn't say san des because that means I'm 3. Like I don't know exactly if you would just say san. Probably maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
like,
also, are you learning like keiko or are you learning non-keiko too?
No, it's like very formal? Basic. It's like right now we're learning the simplest form of replies and questions. So there's a lot of ways to be proper when you reply to someone, but right now there's a lot of not loopholes, just shortcuts where if context is inferred between the conversation, just like say, Mike, like how old are you today? You can just say I'm 24 or whatever, or I'm 25. Where, using complete sentences makes that a little bit more challenging, or using proper, like I don't know. If you try to be proper, it throws everything for a loop.
Yeah. My age is XYZ, right? You explicitly put it out versus learning the, inferring context. Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like that.
What's the balance between like speaking and writing and English versus Japanese?
The balance?
Like, do you obviously don't speak in Japanese the whole time?
This guy, the guy, when we learn at least, he's pretty much speaking in English a lot of the time. As the class goes on, he'll just start. He's trying to teach us sentence structure. So there's topic maker characters. Like whenever you say wa, usually it means you introduce the name wa, engineeru, and that means the name. Whoever that person's name, they're an engineer. Okay, so that wa is like the topic maker, or they are an engineer. So it's like figuring out what characters mean certain things in sentences or in the situation. And it's not necessarily a lot of vocabulary. It's just knowing like, okay, this symbol combines 2 nouns. This symbol introduces a verb and a noun. This symbol introduces 2 things and combines them. Kind of more like stuff like that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's not really focused. Like when we took our exam, he kind of put the romanji over the hiragana, which is the romanicized syllables of the different hiragana letters. And it was mostly just picking out, okay, so that's that word. He's using it in this context. This word is a verb, so okay, that's what he's saying. Instead of actually being able to decipher that 100%.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Interesting. And then are you learning like speaking and writing 50-50, or is how's that balance?
It's pretty balanced because we learn speaking first, but he has us write things throughout the class as well. I would say most of the stuff we learn is all spoke and written. So it's been fun. And it's very easily applied, I think, when we go there. I just need to learn more so I can actually apply more things.
And you have like hiragana and katakana memorized, right?
Yeah, I'm getting there at least. I don't have it fully memorized, but
I have comprehension to a small degree. I wouldn't be able to speak very much, or definitely not write. But like the comprehension I have only comes from anime, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have a book to learn, but I haven't really taken classes or anything. But like I definitely have to the point, and I know anime, of course, is like a more formal version of formal way of speaking, and not at all like real conversation. But there are definitely phrases that I just understand now. Like I don't need to look at the TV to know what's being said.
Yeah.
In certain situations, and I can't repeat them because obviously I don't know the names. But the comprehension is there to the point where, like, I can just look away, and do something, and I'll still know what's being said. Even in like a new episode of whatever, or a new movie.
That's really nice. Yeah, I'm like that way with Spanish. I took years of Spanish back in high school, and like I can not really speak it, and listening to it can be hard because people can talk really fast, right? But reading it, I can read it almost fluently. Where I'm like, oh, I can just read through this Spanish. I think. Are you that way with French? I know you took French classes back in high school.
Not at all. I mean, how many years of Spanish did you take?
I took 4 years of Spanish, but I can read it.
I took 4 years of French.
Yeah,
but I felt like
French is weird.
For me, the French is weird, but for me, the writing is one thing, But I think I'm always better with comprehension, just listening, because I can understand bits and pieces of French still, but I can't
You can't
read. Reading's all right as long as I can pronounce the word. I can kind of figure out what it's saying, but I feel as the time has gone on, I've just kind of lost that.
Yeah, that's funny because I feel like, that's a different way of thinking, right? Again, because like listening to it, I'm like, okay, there's too many dialects and stuff like that. But if I'm reading it, okay, it's the same structure all the time. I can just look at it, and obviously there's some differences, right? Like something like Catalan, where it's got like the X in there, and you're like, okay, this is out of my, but like the Spanish.
That's
I learned,
actually
right?
where some of my friends are from that I met. So that's if we ever go to Spain, that's where we'd be talking
Catalonia.
to. Yeah,
that's cool. So yeah, that's really awesome. I mean, and they know exactly what I'm talking about, right? With the the X and the different things. And I remember reading like they have very different. It's sometimes pronounced the same, but it has this different spelling. Whereas like with I learned, I think it was Mexican Spanish. And so just like reading through that, like I can look at a Spanish document, like, okay, I can read this. Like I remember in class when I think it was sophomore year, just like I had to read up a Spanish news article. I'm just like, oh yeah, I can just read this and understand exactly what's going on.
That's impressive still though.
I know, right? And I haven't really used it too much. Like sometimes I'll pick up someone like, oh, I know what this person's saying, right? But most of the time I'm like, it's out of it. But I just find it really fascinating that what our brains focus on in that and still remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, which is what I'm able to learn, is I've always wanted, like, when you have your parents and they're like, they just don't either understand. For us, it'd be technology, not picking, or our grandparents just not picking up technology and things like that. And you're like, well, why not? You just have to learn it. And I think as I've gotten older, I've started to kind of understand that more. But at the same time, I always want to be someone that is still able to learn
that
new
gets
things.
it. Yeah.
So I kind of have to work at that every so often and be like, you know what? I actually need to sit down and learn this thing.
But that's a good
Or
mindset.
figure it out.
Because there's plenty of people who
it's a good
don't.
mindset, but like but I've started to understand that it gets harder to learn as you go older.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
just busier. I mean, I used to have so much free
Busy is
time.
one thing for sure, but I mean, like just the amount of information you already have,
Yeah.
and then you have to then take in something new, and you're like,
Especially
I don't know
like,
about that.
I
Never
know in
stop
my
learning.
field, right? There's so many nuances, and you're like, okay, now if you get into all the nuances and learning all that stuff, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
There's always
I know
new things in IT.
I know the structure of it. I know I always try to take was it first principles or like the physics approach, right? Where you know the fundamentals, and you know like what the base structure is, but you have to reason out from there. And there's plenty of little nuances with especially all the different softwares we work with.
Yeah. IT would be nuts, I think, to stay up to date with. It's so changing. That's just
It
the
is.
time. It would be
Yeah,
so
if you like
hard to
learning,
keep up.
it's great.
daily. You know, it's good. I mean, but the thing with IT is like, luckily, is that there's general principles like Micah was talking about.
Yep.
Fundamentals.
that stick with you. Like there's general design principles, and there's general UI principles, and there's general principles for anything that you can think of nowadays regarding technology, which is why you can come into a situation not knowing anything about a piece of software. Someone says, hey, how do you do this? I'm like, well, I've never used this thing before, but I'll give it a shot because I know enough where I know the principles, and the principles will let you interact with something in a semi-familiar way. Luckily.
Yeah.
Huh.
No, it is really fascinating that. I feel like our generation's more equipped for that too, because
That's
we're
true.
just so
Yeah.
used to that. I know working with older generations here, it's like anything technology based. It's like, all right, I need to work with them step by step, walk them through it, versus implicit. But I think you're on the right track though with that, Sean. Is that you are still in the mentality, because there's plenty of people who go out of
give
the
up.
mentality of
Yeah.
I don't care about learning anymore. As long as you stay in that learning mentality, I think you're golden.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, all right, I want to keep growing. I do feel like that you're right though, where I know when I was younger, it's like, okay, I'm just learning everything, and learning is like
It comes way
breathing,
easier.
right?
Yeah.
Whereas now
Learning
it's like,
becomes
okay,
a
I have to actually
chore.
focus on learning something versus just
Intake.
basically being like inhaling new information, new knowledge. I have to actually start focusing on it. I don't know if that's just how our brains are now, that we're hitting that point. We're all kind of hit in that area, right, where our brains are. It's like what around 25, right, is when is like kind of like the end of your development cycle.
I'm always
I guess
developing.
so. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
Some people believe.
but I mean, yeah,
Yeah. I often wonder what's the thing when we're older, when we're like in our 40s, 50s.
Oh, yeah,
What's the
right.
thing that's going to be hard for us to grasp? Because it seems to be generational. There's always something that the older generation can't grasp. I feel like I'm so accepting. I would
the
be
new
so
generation
open.
also doesn't grasp from the older generation too, right? There's
Yeah, that's
plenty of
true.
stuff that
But what is it going to be like the metaverse? But I love the metaverse. I'll go in the metaverse.
I feel like that's actually one thing, is that our brains aren't going to be equipped for true VR. Like I feel like people
Really?
once they grow up with like
Mine is.
deep.
Mine's
Okay,
gonna
No
be ready.
problem.
Okay.
I
I will
got this.
plug in.
Yeah.
we've already
Just
talked-
point me in the right direction. I'm there.
But imagine people who grow up in that environment from
Yeah, they'll
essentially
get it
birth,
a
right?
lot
Or
better.
from 5 years old, that they'll be already like engrossed in it, and I bet their mind will be different and experience
I
it
can see what
differently
you're
than
talking
how we are.
about. Yeah.
Because I know when I hop in VR, I still have the disassociation where I'm like, okay, I know I'm still like, some people go in there. Actually, honestly, I've given had older people hop in there, right? Parents and stuff like that. Showing it to
Yeah.
I had my grandmother hop in and try out the VR experience, and she's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like this is like so real, even though it's
It's obviously not
to the
real.
high
It's not.
end.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I have this disassociation with it, right? But I wonder if later generations, they hop in there, and their mind, it just becomes like second nature. I feel like actually, I think a better example of that, at least personally,
Like how
is
we use
texting.
a phone or something.
When I
Yeah,
text
or
someone,
texting.
it's like I don't have that, like you're supposed to be like a conversation with someone, right? But for me, nothing beats just
An
sitting
actual
here
conversation.
in
Yeah.
person.
Well, yeah, I
conversation.
definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
You know,
But I bet there's some people out there, and heck, I've met people where texting is like second nature.
It's their preferred.
It's just like having a conversation with someone.
I see what you're
and they
saying.
get the same, I don't know, mental.
Same reward from it.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
there's certain aspects of like VR, like having like imagine doing your job through VR. That would be a little weird to me, and that's something I wouldn't see not being. I could see that being
that'd
possible.
be cool.
I don't think that's going to be possible until. Well, I mean,
I think in 30
possible,
years,
yes, but like I don't think
will.
the dexterity you have is with your fingers is going to be matched until we can do Sword Art-esque insert ourselves into the world.
Full
I
dive.
think you'd be able to wear gloves, and I think you could go into a chat room and have a
gloves
meeting with
might
other
do
people. It'd be tactile. I think you could do it in 30 years. That
I
to
think there's
us
still
would be weird, but
30 years, I can see it.
Yeah.
Right now, there's still, even if you have gloves, like they have gloves, but
sure,
there's still a delay.
it's a ways off from being to that usable
But 30
scale.
years, I could see gloves being that good.
I think actually even now, I don't know if you've seen this before. Right now I actually work with a doctor's office who does something kind of similar, but what they can do now is they have like the gloves, and surgeons have the surgical robots, and they'll actually be even smaller, right? So micro movements, and that's actually a benefit because their their dexterity can't, they can't match that on a human level. They can have like these tiny little robots that, a movement, the surgeon's movement is minimum, like, it's like a tenth in the real scale, right?
Right.
And it's just moved like a tiny bit, but and it's extremely cool. I mean, I think that's the future is
well, there's a retail company, like a real estate company, right now that their whole business is virtual. Like their whole campus is a virtual world.
It's wild.
And they only have one building because as a company that big, you need to have a building. So they have one brick and mortar building, and that's it. Everything else is done online, and it's all in like this virtual campus. Like there's buildings and conference rooms, and everyone has their avatar that can move around this virtual space.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. So that's already a thing. And in 10 years, it'll definitely be more.
They're not always they're not in VR. They're just like at a computer. It's like playing a video game.
Oh, really?
First person video game. Yeah.
It's like PlayStation Home.
Yeah.
That's a little strange.
It is strange, but like you can do VR. But but it's not, everyone doesn't always have VR. You can just use it as the 2D.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there'd be a disassociation there, especially like in a corporate environment where it's like, okay, I want to like look at the person I'm talking to make sure that they're, talking to me straight, right?
Yeah.
I'd be like, I feel like that'd almost be a little too disassociated, in person.
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like a cool idea, and it definitely had like aspects. I mean, you can see where it becomes useful, just to be able to be in the same space and have meeting rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems a little gimmicky, but at the same time, they're ahead of the curve and they're saving millions of dollars on retail space.
Oh, absolutely.
And this is like a not a global, but like it's a real estate agency for the whole U.S. They have offices everywhere, or people everywhere, and they don't need to meet. They just all virtual. So it's pretty cool.
I mean,
we'll get there one day, I think.
I know the company I currently
this
work
was
for.
pre-COVID, by the way. I learned about this.
Oh, interesting.
This was pre-COVID.
That's just their business model.
The company I work for, they literally right before COVID, they bought a new space, and it has barely been used because they got a bigger office. They were expanding, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we need a new office. And then it after COVID hasn't really been used. Everyone's working from remote. Or at least like, hybrid, right? Where someone's going to the office and use like, the facilities there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how that expands, especially in this new environment where everyone's working from remote.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to need to be a need for physical spaces.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Always. But I really think this whole COVID thing is going to change the way that people work, and I hope it does.
I really do too. Flexibility is good.
There's a lot of jobs you don't need to be there in person for.
Yeah.
And if we do go VR route, and if we do go virtual route like this retail or real estate company, it fills that little bit of a divide where you see that you're not there, but it's like, oh, you're there. I can see, I can interact with you, and I think that'll cancel it out.
Socializing is important. I think that's the one thing I would be worried about with going all remote. Even if you're doing flex schedules where you're going in 2 days a week, if you have 50% of the people in the office at once, that's like 50% less socialization you can kind of do. I don't know. It's just it takes away social opportunities.
But at the same time, it's more productive.
Yeah, it is, but I think there's
but people as a whole need to socialize.
They do.
That's where I'm an introvert. I don't like partying. I don't need to do a lot. I'm very comfortable staying in my room for the whole day.
Yeah.
Not going out. But I still need to talk to people. I still need to interact. And I definitely have felt that moving into a place on my own where it's like,
oh yeah,
there's no one here.
All right. I'm ready to go out and talk to somebody.
I think I told you this, right? Is that all sometimes like I'm working from almost 100%, mostly just due to high COVID in the area right now, and it's been like that way for 2 months, so essentially full remote. And I still do like in person, and I have to go to job sites to do stuff. Yeah, and that's always nice. But I'll sometimes go to the grocery store like during
just
the week because I just want to
people.
Yeah, like be around other people.
Yeah,
I'm fairly midway, like ambivert, I guess that is the way to say it. Like extroversion, introversion.
Oh, it's a new term.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, I need to go to the grocery store, not so much just to buy things. I mean, I'll get stuff there, right? I'll like stock up, but at the same time, I'm like, all right, I want to go there like twice a week just to see other people. I noticed that actually senior year, unfortunately, of college, where at like the library, I could never study in my dorm or where I lived, but anytime I went out somewhere, especially like the library, like and I'm around other people, I can study really well. Yeah, which is so funny.
I'm out enough, like for me, just being around people is enough. Usually, I do like to talk to people, but just being around people is enough. And luckily, I go to the gym I go to is
social.
Very, it's a social environment. Rock climbing is so. Being at a gym that does that, it doesn't feel like a regular gym in the sense that everyone's like in their own world doing their own thing. In
headphones on,
it's like we're all looking at each other. I'll make comments on what someone's doing on a wall or something like that. So that kind of fills that quota that I need, but it's been different for sure.
Yeah, and
definitely noticed that, and I think that goes back to the large thing with COVID. Like, if you go full remote, like Colton, you want to go full remote?
I do. It's a possibility coming up here for a little bit.
Yeah, but you're also the most extroverted of the three of us. So.
I don't know. See, I was gonna follow up. I think you guys are all right.
You also have a girlfriend, so you have someone to be with. So
that's something.
That's huge.
I mean, and the thing is, like, everyone's different, I feel like. So different people can take different levels of full remote. Some people would love full remote completely. Like, they don't want to see anyone. They want to do their own thing. That's what makes them happy. That's great. Giving them the option to do that's great. But still, for someone that's midway, someone who likes socializing every once in a while, I don't know. Like, we miss out on some opportunities to make, like, really close connections at work. And I know a lot of people out there are like, work is like just this thing that you do to live outside. But I really think a good work-life balance includes having a good social environment at work. So sometimes
I totally agree with you.
And it can all be alleviated with, like, when you're at home, maybe you have friends or people are really easily outreaching. They all reach out to you via Teams messaging or video chats. Maybe someone just wants to chat through some things, and it makes it feel a lot better. But a lot of instances, companies kind of just shut down. A lot of people shut down, and they don't talk to anyone, and you're just kind of there alone. And it's really subjective to every single person. It's really hard to make everyone happy.
And you don't feel like a team, right? You feel like just an individual working.
Yeah, I feel like a cog. So I don't know how you fix that, because I like the opportunity for socializing at work. I'm not someone who, like, goes out to everyone's desk and tries to, like, make friends with everyone. But I do see the importance of that, especially if you're trying to make it, make connections and stuff like that.
That's
it's
funny.
really important.
That's me.
Yeah.
I'm the one who goes to everyone. I'm like, hey, I'm meet you. Let's like talk, right?
I guess if you wanna.
So I started a new job, right? So this is prime like things I'm going through right now, which is and it's a startup. So there's not a ton of people, but there's about 100 or so people, and 120, and it's a manufacturing facility. So there's office and there's, facility workers and everything, or manufacturing workers. And everything's always changing. Lots of things are happening every day. Every week is different. So I'm coming into that, as someone, and me specifically being in IT, I touch probably everything. I'm going to go around to every department and I'm going to talk to every person. So I get to know everybody. And it's so interesting kind of like going through that, because it's usually tough for me just because of how like introverted / like I just like I'm pretty like I'm usually a pretty closed book until I actually get to know somebody.
Yeah.
I would say. But it's been so interesting like seeing how this company interacts, because there's a lot of talkers, and honestly, it's some of the most open people that I've been around in this new job and location. Like,
that's really cool.
They have this thing where you hire in cycles. So ideally, everyone that's going to be hired in a cycle gets hired on the same day. So you have like a cohort in a way that starts, and they go through similar training, and you have to go through safety training, and you have to go through like
it's a buddy
manufacturing
system.
Facility and all these stuff. So it all stacks like that. I was hired in a non-cycle, but with this, it's like a weird in-between cycles. There was 3 other people that were hired on my date.
Yep.
We did some introductory stuff, and then that was my first week. And the next week was like the start of the main cycle. So there was more people then.
Yeah.
And then I joined on that for other stuff.
I see.
Like safety things like that. So there was a lot of like, go around the room and say your name and things you're into and everything.
Yep.
And this was the first time where people would just kind of said whatever with like no like people asking or no like concern about people judging them. Like there's this one dude.
It put everything out
That's
on the
really
table. That's cool.
There's this
That's
one
good.
dude that was just like, I'm just a super nerd, I watch anime, this thing. And I'm like, and like 2 or 3 people said that.
Like,
and
yeah,
they're
I
like,
love anime.
and they're manufacturer workers, like on the line, like most people that do that job.
And did you
would
high
not
five
say
them too?
that. I didn't say I liked anime at all. Like it was one of those things where
Yeah,
like, I said I was a rock climber. That's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
But like this dude, one guy in particular, I remembered who said he was into anime and everything, and in his lunchbox he had like a light novel or something.
So he's like actually there.
And
He's
he
like,
said
whoa.
he even said he's like, oh, and anime and everything. And someone in the back was like, oh, what's your favorite one? And then he said like a very obscure one, not obscure, but like
something that's
Which one was it?
a non-popular. And he said
Yeah.
ID Invaded, which I've seen. But like it's
like-
something that not a lot of
That's like
people would
something-
like. You have to be into anime.
Yeah,
to
you
have
have to be
seen
watching
anime.
seasonal stuff to be saying
And I was
that.
like, and 2 or 3 people said they liked anime, or they're like, one dude said he was a dungeon master, and I'm like, what's going on right now?
Right.
What kind of universe am I living in where
That's
people
really
just do that?
cool though that they're so
That they're so open. I
accepting
think
of
it's
that. I mean,
awesome.
I think that's a
I thought
real
so,
shift
too.
in the
Yeah.
popular culture though, because I mean, you think about it.
And
I
no
was-
one like
No one's like, oh,
what do you, it's
like,
like
oh,
Smurf.
that's
They're like
weird.
scoff. No one scoffed. They're
Yeah.
like, every,
Yeah.
'Cause
no
they'd
one's
be
like,
outnumbered.
Oh, okay,
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, honestly.
Nerd.
I was double taking. Like, what's
Yep.
going on right now?
That's how I
Yeah,
felt.
that's-
in-
Yeah, it's cool. Like getting, it's been fun being in that type of environment.
Yeah.
And myself as my personality, I have a hard time usually going out and like
Being open,
talking
and
to all these people, but like I'm kind of forced to do that as my role.
Yeah.
So it's good for me.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it's good to know that there's like a lot of people that don't judge as much,
Yeah.
or seemingly. It doesn't seem that they do. I don't
Right.
know if they really do, but we'll see.
Right. They seem
That's
to be
really
very
cool.
non-judgy.
That, hey, I mean that's a good environment to be in, right? If that's true, that's an excellent environment to be in, because
Yeah.
that way you don't have to worry about like you can be
Yeah.
open about that, and you're like
And I want to
holding
find this
anything
guy
back.
too and be like, because we're in completely different parts of this plant. You
But
know, like
you're in IT, and you'll be working with him
I'm
eventually.
eventually going to
so-
find this guy. I mean, like, I know everyone's name, or at least I see everyone's name because, I touch
Yeah.
everybody's
You see their user
account info and
profile.
everything. But there's like this building that I work in is massive. I sent you guys a video of it. or a picture of it.
Yeah.
The entire picture is the building. It stretches into the distance.
Yeah.
And
That was the
like
picture you sent?
I've walked the entirety of this place, and it takes forever.
Yeah, I mean, is it like a warehouse and manufacturing combined?
Yeah, that looks huge.
Yeah, it's so one building is logistics and which is where everyone's currently in, and then another building is the main manufacturing and shipping and everything else. And they're building offices in that right now. And it's like, I think the whole thing is 63 acres, the whole plot of land we have, and inside the main building is 1.2 million square feet
Oh God.
of space.
Of space. Jesus. That's
And
a lot.
and there's like partitioned walls that have been built, but eventually they're all going to be knocked down, and it's just going to be continuous open space again. And like, oh my God, it's huge. It's so weird to be in a building that big. It's pretty cool. I gotta say.
I just realized I can also dox you right now. That's great.
You can?
Well, isn't that just when I reveal
because
it?
I sent you the thing.
Yeah. I didn't realize that, but I won't.
Well, yeah, don't do that. That'd be bad.
That'd be bad.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm kind of going through that whole like new
Phase.
working in environment situation. I don't know how we got onto this topic. I'll be
I
honest.
don't either.
That's
VR.
how it is.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything new right now, Michael? Or are you just things you're doing day to day?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm
Cooking
starting a
anything new?
new job in literally a week, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, you accepted the offer.
Oh, yeah. So it'll be a bit of a drive, but it'll be different. And I'm going
What's the
from
commute?
MSP to enterprise. So if you're familiar with the IT world, MSP is managed service provider, meaning that you basically have you support like medium businesses or small businesses that don't have a dedicated internal IT team. So I'm now switching to that, and I've got it's like a 4 or 5 person IT team. So,
Nice.
So you're supporting
internal.
the company itself,
Yeah,
as
and
opposed
so it'll
to
be
supporting
definitely
other companies.
Mm-hmm.
a difference. Hopefully, we'll see how it is, but it'll I'm
Honestly,
excited.
enterprise is way better. I'm excited for you because
Yeah, MSP can be
that's where I
a
came
grind.
from was an enterprise.
Yeah.
It's better.
Well, I mean, I worked at MSU in the IT department there, and yeah, it's just
That's
a
basically
different
enterprise.
experience, right?
Yeah.
Mostly just due to the fact that MSP, your goal, you make money off of support versus enterprise. You're part of the cost of doing business, and so
Yeah.
it's a different perspective on the entire from an organizational level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to meet a bunch of new people. I'll probably do the same thing Sean did, and
Yeah, you're
talk
gonna go
about
through
it.
the exact same thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, then I'll be doing the same things. I might get a new job soon. It's wild.
Oh man,
I'm gonna hear
look
back.
at
I'm
us.
gonna hear back next week. I might. It might work out. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, but this is the time to do it, right?
It is. You're
during
right.
during your 20s is to switch between, especially now with the pandemic. I feel
Yeah.
like you can shift and obviously get better pay and hopefully get a better environment or a different environment. That
Yeah,
you,
like do more. That's why I'll work from home like a couple days a week. Like let me do it once or twice.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you. Although I get really bored if I do every day. Like it's like the past 2 months have been just kind of like a strain on that.
Yeah, if you just kind of the last couple weeks of a job are kind of crazy, because you're like, you know what, I don't need to do anything, like, but at the same time you want
at the same
to do
time, you gotta
to
wrap up
finish
everything.
well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Yeah, it's
it's not. I don't know. It's not so much that. It's more just like I don't know. You are right in that some respect. Like I'm, kind of just like okay, I don't have to care as much, but I still do. I still, I try to honor my work, right?
Yeah.
Honest pay for honest work.
yeah.
But no, it's just getting used to it, switching roles.
Switching roles. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting for you too.
It'll be different. It'll be definitely different. Just like learning, so I get to stick with one environment, one topology, instead of having to deal with the 30 different ones I had to deal with before.
Yeah, that is very helpful. I mean, you learn your system and that's it, instead of having to learn so many others.
But
It's
the fun
so
thing
much
is
better.
that you do get to learn like that's part of the reason I want to do it is because this challenge. I want to challenge myself of like, okay, I get to learn multiple different environments, and so you have to get to that same thing about the core principles, right? I feel like you can really get your core principles down because you have to learn so many different environments. The downside is that you don't get into like the very like the nitty gritty and the little niche, little like
True.
different apps and stuff like that have like their own little finickiness, right? There's a lot of finickiness in that.
I hate finicky. I
right?
want it to work well.
And there's so many. Yeah, there's like those little things that don't work, or like from organizational, you have to understand also honestly, I think the harder part is actually understanding the organizational like internal politics. And you're like, okay, I don't want to
that's true.
cause any ruckus in this, so you got to like understand the individual that. So
Yeah, I think honestly, for me, I think it takes a month or two, probably 2 months, to feel like really comfortable in a new area.
Yeah, sure.
Job specifically, like right now, I'm still learning people. I'm still like figuring out where everybody stands. But in like a month or two, I'm gonna be, I think definitely part of the team. So
Yeah.
it just takes some time to learn that. I think
Yeah.
cool.
it's been fun. I think.
What about you for Colton? So with remote, what are you hoping to gain from that?
Well, honestly, I mean, as a contrast to your guys, I've worked. Okay, so I have worked remote like 2 weeks in my job. There were a couple instances where I got a small COVID scare. So when that happens, we have to be work at home. And honestly, I really liked it. Like what I was doing, I really liked, and I didn't have to worry about 45-minute commute there and back. So I got to just dive into my work, and I was really enjoying it. I got to do more work because I get paid overtime for what I do as well. So I got to just work some overtime, and then
I wish that was my case.
I know it's so nice because I could just work overtime and get paid for it, and I just did it from my chair, and I really liked it. I think if I did it full time, which is what this new position would be, have to work a lot at like reaching out to other people to not go insane. But I also think, I mean, if I had a fully remote job, I'm gonna travel. Like I'm gonna do that, and that would be really fun to me, I think, as well, to do something and travel around and go to see different places while not taking a bunch of PTO. So
yeah,
I
think I may have mentioned this before. But
Yeah.
Did ever guys tell you that my idea about like I think kind of like the ideal mid-level IT job, where you
what is
basically
it?
have full remote, but then you work third shift, aka from like 11 to 6 a.m. But
but you're in
do
another
it from
country,
Japan or Australia or New Zealand, so it's a 12-hour difference. So you're like, oh, this is 11 to 7 or 11 to 6,
right?
From there, and that's that'd be great because this is working like a nice day shift.
A nice day shift in another country. I think you've talked about this. I agree. Honestly, I would do something very similar to that if given the opportunity. I would live,
and you usually get paid more too.
Yeah, I would do a lot of different things as far as career and stuff once. Like I know when my girlfriend and I, this is way back then, or this was way back a couple years ago, so I don't feel I feel like I can share it. But we were going to go to Mississippi potentially, and everyone shits on Mississippi. But I don't know. It's interesting down there. It's a completely different culture. It's
Totally different.
Yeah, it's
Totally different.
It's just an opportunity to experience something completely new. And even if I didn't like it, a year down there wouldn't be that bad. I'd try most things for a year. I would go down there.
I thought the same thing with my recent move.
Yeah. So like even if you hate it, I think there's at least something you can gain out of it. Maybe a person or two you can meet and become friends with. Maybe some experiences that you gain. And then if it sucks still after a year, yeah, you could just take off. But for a year, I think there's a lot to gain from it. So like even moving
and you
to
gain new experiences.
Yeah. So even
although it's starting to get to the point for me where I think like, okay, I have a year to do something. How do I want to spend that year? Like
procrastinate?
It really become the point to me where like time, the idiom time is money or whatever.
Yep.
like
I'm spending my time. I don't have a infinite amount of time.
You only have 80,000 hours. Sorry. This is
and and especially the time that you can spend in your life that is young, where you can go and do things. I've really started to thinking about that. Where do I want to spend my time?
Yeah.
And spend my years.
Because honestly, it's the most valuable thing.
Yeah,
time.
that you start getting really existential there, because you're like, well, am I doing what I should be doing? Am I actually
Yeah,
happy?
I try not to go that deep because that's
a rabbit hole.
That's a rabbit hole. But I have until I'm 40, to do the hard things that I want to do in life. I think,
I think
I'm still gonna be rock climbing past 40, but if I'm not gonna try and climb Everest when I'm past 40,
Oh, you're trying to figure out if you want to do that even at this point.
I'm not going to climb Everest, but you get where I'm coming
challenge.
from. The really hard things that you can bounce back from when you're younger.
Yeah.
Like I can bounce back from a lot.
No.
In my 20s, than I wouldn't be able to when I'm in my 50s.
Or even like a huge financial
it's that
loss
type of thing that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah, financial less so. I mean, like I think I'm in a pretty good position.
Well, I mean, you can.
Occasionally I fantasize about selling everything and buying a boat,
say,
but
you can YOLO all your money into GameStop now, and you're way better off if that doesn't work out. If you do that when you're 50,
exactly,
that would be much worse.
Or you can utilize the money better when you're younger. I think.
Yeah.
And when you're older, I think you want to be able to spend money on somebody or a group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you're younger, you want to spend it on yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's wrong. I think that's just how life should be.
Yeah, I mean, at 50, you got kids usually.
Usually you're supporting something else. Your life is not your own anymore. It's shared.
Yeah, or like I could leave a bunch of money to my kids or family, but and my grandma has this right now. She's like, she's pretty well off, and she said she would rather spend the money that she has on her family than pass away and just leave it to everybody. And I understand that rationale, because like I'd rather see somebody happy from the gift that I give them than just like not being able to experience
I don't know.
Right.
I feel like, see, my perspective has always been like I see it as an investment, but I'm also the type of person, like I am extremely religious about, okay, I cannot spend over my income. Like, and if that ever does happen, I have a mild existential crisis.
You're like, shit.
I have to always always push my income further, like, and try not to, always save, or like, I was always the kind of person like, okay, emergency fund, have that stuff.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Even when I was like a kid, I was extremely frugal like
need
that.
Need that $200 in case something happens.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Put that like, I started investing when I was really young.
Well, good.
Yeah. And so it's just like, all right, that's my thought process. And so always when I hear, oh, someone's got do that, like set up a trust fund or like do something where, like, what always worries me is people who do, like, you get like the lottery people who where like they'll
spend
get a bunch of money
and then spend it,
lottery tickets,
and they'll spend it all. It's like, no, you gotta like set up a annuity or something like that where it's like a gradual income, because that can really help with, say, someone falls into tough times, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's the best way to do it. It's like, okay, family falls into tough times and you got to help them out, right? They may have, medical shit, especially with the U.S. medical system, right? Well, they'll get fucked by something there, and like, all right, you got to help them out with that, and really, or they run into, someone needs to get a new car because their car broke down, they don't have anything, help them out there. I feel like that's the best way to do it.
I mean, I had a whole, not existential, but like a whole like internal debate in my head with the new TV.
On money, spending the money for it, kind of thing.
Like, it's a lot of money.
It is. It's a
TVs
large
aren't
amount
cheap,
of money.
and this is a very nice TV. It's not cheap. And in my head, I'm trying to think. Of course, when you want something, you try and justify it. Right?
Yep.
But I'm trying to think, why? Can I do this? Like, sure. Do I need this? No. Do I want it? Yes. Can I do it is what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't do it, you shouldn't. But if you can, might as well. And what it came down to is like, I have money put away. I've saved money. I'm not without my means to get a new thing. And then I'm of a big mindset where you should spend your money where you spend your time. And that's
In
a
front
bed,
of the TV.
you know?
Yeah.
For me, that's a desk, you know, and
Absolutely,
my computer. And then it's like watching entertainment on a TV, you know, that's, and then eventually I'll get around to the toilet because, you know, you spend a lot of time there. But like,
Bidet is cheap,
Yeah,
though.
right. Get the
Bidet's
bidet.
cheap.
yeah, bidet, I'm thinking about it. But, you know, I spend a lot of time watching movies and watching TV and media I watch a lot of. So
Yep.
it came down to the thinking that I thought, you know, it's where I spend my time. It's going to be a good investment in that. So that's kind of where I convinced myself. And then I thought, well, I'm not doing this without my means. Like I have the means to buy this. I might as well. So that kind of goes along to what you were saying, Michael, is like, I'm consider myself very frugal as well,
Yeah.
but I do like to spend money on things that I spend time doing. So
And it's different
kinda
for the moment
balances
since
out
we
in a
don't
way.
like have kids. I feel like everything changes when you have kids. A lot of people I
Yeah.
work with right now, like they got kids and stuff like that, and you just talk with them. Like, heck, one of my coworkers, he's got 4 kids. First kid was at 18, so
Oh,
and he's around my age, right?
yeah.
And you're like, and just a
Dang.
different perspective on that. I don't know. I think it's definitely going to change. You know, you talked about your grandmother too. My mom actually just retired at end of last year, and so we kind of talking about it too. Although she's in an interesting perspective where she doesn't, you know, I'm out of the house, you know, living my own life, right? So she doesn't really have, and you know, my parents have been divorced since I was a kid. So
Yeah.
it's not like she's doing anything. So she's almost going through the same existential crisis that you are, Sean, where it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
talk to
know what to
somebody.
do now.
You need friends,
Right.
you know. You need to.
You gotta have friends.
and she's got a bunch of friends too, but still, like it's like, all right, now what do I do with my time?
Right. Gotta.
I think my mom. Sorry, slight tangent. I think my mom is going through like the learning period of that I'm not around and
Yeah.
doing my own thing. You know.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
You're
Just because like I've always lived with my parents, you know, and then except for when I was in college, and then now I'm gone. This is it. I'm out. So
Your parents.
they're like kind of getting used to like me not being there.
Yeah, your parents were
You know?
lucky they got to have you that long though, because it's not typical.
And I was
guess.
lucky I got to be with them for
I
that
mean, it's
long,
nice.
you know?
Yeah, it benefited both of you. I mean, you got to save money, got to stay at home, work a good job, kind of thing. But I know a lot of people who, yeah, they take off at 18. And honestly, I don't have kids. I feel like that's going to be a pretty hard point in my life when my kids leave. Like that'd be tough.
But you also know you have a
mean-
good relationship, which that's positive, right? Because
Yes.
A lot of people, they're like, okay, I need to get the fuck out at 18,
Yeah.
right? I need to
Yeah.
leave, and
I
they don't
think-
want to go back. Whereas, like, I know personally, both my parents are like, oh, like come by and stuff like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah, same.
Yeah, my parents like that too. Like you always have a place to stay with us, you know. But and I really appreciate that. And it's just different. It's you know the next phase of life in
yeah.
a way.
Adulting.
I'm very glad to be on my own, but I'm glad that I got to spend the time that I did with my parents because you know I've learned a lot from them, you know, good and bad. I would say,
Yeah.
you know, you
I think that's
learn what
everyone's
you
parents,
like and what you dislike, and then you grow and make your own. Wow, this is getting really
This is getting
existential,
pretty
like
deep.
really,
Yeah, it
like
is.
really
We don't-
deep.
we don't usually go
I didn't
this-
mean
this
to be
deep.
What
that
about you,
type of
Colton?
podcast.
You, heck, you after college, you never ever lived with your parents, right?
I've
Yeah, we-
never met your parents.
yeah,
Colton.
yeah. This so me.
yeah,
I've been
you
to
have,
your
yes.
house, and I've
You've
never met his parents.
You've never. You've been to my house. I know that. Did you not meet
I
my
think
parents?
did I stay at your house? I left my trailer at your house
yeah,
for a year.
yeah. Did you not
Oh
meet
wait,
them at
really?
all?
You haven't met his
Yeah.
parents?
So weird. Well, that'll have to
I
change
met-
soon.
I met your mom
I
the
don't think
first time,
I
and then I met
at
your,
least I don't remember meeting your parents.
yeah,
Weird.
You guys have both met my parents. I
Yeah,
think.
because we.
yeah, oh yeah.
Weird. That is so strange. Well, me and Carly have talked about this a lot because okay, so her parents have lived in the same house their whole life, and their hometown, the house means a lot to them. It's a big part of their. They have a lot of sentimental value in the house itself.
Yeah.
Whereas I moved around my whole life. I was in Michigan. I was in Seattle. I was in London, and I've been a lot of different places. Like for internships, I went to different states and all that. To me, it's just like part of the deal. Like when you're 18, you're going
a
off.
house
and
is
you're
a
adult.
place, you know.
You just go off and do your thing. I don't want to be at home, honestly, most of the time. I'm good to see my parents for a week, but I don't want to be there. I want to be doing something and away. I honestly would love to I'd love just going different places and doing all this new stuff. And a home doesn't mean a whole lot to me. Whereas to maybe you guys, or at least Carly, she lived in one spot her whole life. So now a home means a lot. So when kind of like preparing for adulthood, it's weird to move around so often because it's like, well, where's my home kind of floating? Whereas to me, it's like, this is how I lived my whole life.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So what is home to you? Like when you say the word home, what does that mean to you?
Home is a feeling, not a place. That is what it means to me.
It's weird because
what's that feeling right now for you? Like what place evokes that feeling for you right now?
That's a good question. It's just a place where you feel content, I guess. Content is maybe a bad word because it means that it might mean that you're settling. It's just somewhere that you can relax and you can get away from all the busyness of life, I guess. Somewhere where you're happy to be. The apartment we have now feels like a home to me, I guess. But we want to move. We both want to move somewhere else, and we want to be in a different environment, which is why we'd like to move from where we're currently at. So we're moving to somewhere that should feel a lot more like home for a lot of different reasons of the place we're going to. I will not dox myself this episode.
Yeah. What about you, Sean? Does your apartment feel like home now? I mean, it's only been a couple weeks, but
it's definitely getting there. I mean, like I still have the at least like saying that like my place or something that feels weird to me still. So
yeah.
And I know I've referenced like when talking to my parents, I don't know how to call their house, like I would usually say, back home, referring to their house.
Yeah,
but, like,
because that's the actual
I'm like, but
home.
that's not my home anymore.
Right.
So where do I? To me, home is usually people. Like where I feel that I'm most around.
Yeah. But
I definitely feel that starting to change to here. Like I feel that.
Yeah.
I'll just start to naturally call this place my home.
Yeah.
Soon. I think that I've lived at my parents' place for so long that it's like it's ingrained, but it's definitely more for me like people based, like where I think the people that I care about and like to be around.
Yeah.
That's usually where home is. So which is kind of understandable why it's weird for me to say. I keep referring back home as home. Or, there you go, back at your
parents' place,
old house as home, because like that's I technically don't really know anybody here.
Yeah.
My current place that'll change, as time goes on, and then eventually it'll become more of a home.
Did you think?
But that's usually what I go through.
I asked that because I wanted to understand like when you say home, like what does that mean to you, right? Because I know personally for me, I'm with you guys. There's probably plenty of people, right? I bet Carly, when she says home, it means a different thing, right? But for me, home, like, is basically wherever I rest my head. I'll call home to be a freaking like hotel,
bro.
Because I'm used to it, right?
I'll be in a capsule hotel and I'll call that home if the
exactly. Like
awesome,
I'm heading home right now, and it's like home is where I'm resting my head, and like now I call my dad's place home. I used to, like I used to call my dad's place home, and then now it's my dad's place or my mom's place, and obviously it changes all the time, and I just find that interesting how that psychology, because I feel like we're all in that same boat, as we're talking about this, right? Where it's kind of just where we lay our head, and it's more about the people who are around us than it is the.
Right. Would you call
I think.
Would you call MSU home? Back when you lived in MSU,
No.
both of you when you
I did.
You never.
Yeah, I did call it home when I was there.
I would have called it home. I think
that's the one time I never did the dorm. Living in the dorm.
Oh, really?
I don't think I called it. When I had the apartment, I called that home.
Okay. Well, that was a lot more comfortable, I
dorm.
guess. than any of the
The
dorm
dorm just felt
situations.
I was just off. So
Yeah.
I usually refer to MSU
Wait,
as a whole
I did-
as home.
Oh, they'll
Yeah,
love
I did
that if
call
we get
when-
popular.
yeah, I did call it our when we lived together in the dorm. I did call that home, but like the first year,
Oh.
The first year was different because you had a roommate that was like you never knew ever before. Like, so that's weird.
and also I just like we didn't really
Did I ever meet
communicate.
your roommate? I don't think I ever met your roommate.
No, he's an
Freshman
international
year.
student, and like
Oh, I remember now.
we just
Yeah, I
we just
remember.
don't we never like
You never
like,
clicked, kind
talk
of
and
thing.
stuff like that, and hang out a little bit, but like it was never like there's no chemistry, no connection
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
It's just all right. you know,
Yeah.
we're
I remember
roommates.
you talking about that now. Yeah.
So yeah, but first year, but yeah, second year, especially when like put up the lights and like made our place our own, put the TV and everything
Yeah,
like that. Got it
that
all
was a
situated
good situation. Yeah.
there. That became
I mean,
home.
that's kind of what I was feeling last night when, getting the new TV and
yeah,
watching a movie. And I felt like, you know what? It just felt, everything kind of clicked
Yep.
in a sense where I felt like, all right, this is a nice place, now. So I like when you get to that point in a new
Where you
place
can
or a new
relax.
area. But it's been cool. Just learning this definitely became a lot more teeth than I anticipated. And we never got to Colton's. I wanted to talk about dancing with Colton, but
Oh, should
no,
we?
we can talk about it.
you want to go talk about dancing? Okay, so Colton has told us that he takes dance lessons
Yep. I'm taking dance
or
lessons.
dance class,
Yep.
and I don't know what that means. So I really want to know what's going
Well,
on.
basically, I picked. So I'm doing hip hop, or I did hip hop. Now I'm doing jazz dance.
Wait, but start from the beginning
So,
here.
like, you want to know
So
like the
why
story?
dancing?
Because it sounded fun. Why doesn't it sound fun? It
okay.
just sounds like a. I wanted something that was, what I don't know, like something like that. I work out a decent amount, but I wanted something else that was
Sure.
exercise based, that wasn't running, and that was more like a training, something I could train at.
Something
And-
active, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought of a couple different things. I thought of gymnastics, I thought of dance, and I thought of a couple other things. Dance was just sounded the most fun. Carly also likes dance, so we said, why don't we just do dance? So we found some dance houses, I suppose, that offered adult lessons, because a lot of issues, we found a lot of places, but they only did like 12-year-olds and under kind of thing.
Yeah, that'd be a little
Interesting.
awkward.
Yeah. So we found a place where we could do. They have a ton of different genres. They did tap, they have hip hop, ballet, jazz, contemporary, all the stuff. And we did hip hop.
I'm just imagining Colton as a ballet dancer right now.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. So we did hip hop last semester because they go in semesters with the like the school sessions and stuff.
Is this like a once a week class or is it twice a week?
It's a
or-
once a week class, and
Okay.
there's about 7 people in the class basically.
All right.
Then you have one instructor who's really good. Obviously, we did hip hop, and now I'm currently doing jazz. And jazz is actually most similar to probably ballet with a few more jumps and stuff.
Really? I don't know if I've ever seen jazz.
I don't know what
Jazz
jazz
I
dancing
can't
is. Yeah.
say that.
Jazz is, you'll see it. It looks, I mean, if you didn't know the difference between ballet and jazz, you might just say, oh, that kind of just looks like ballet. It's a lot more like jumpy, and you do a lot of
Yeah.
the same things, same positions, you do twirls and stuff like that.
It's ballet with attitude.
Yeah, I would say that as without a whole lot of dance experience myself. But yeah, I mean, hip hop was great because I don't know, it's very loose. Everyone's like got their own style.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
Freestyling.
Yeah,
Huh.
it was just fun to learn the choreography. Since me and Carly both took band, we kind of know how to follow a beat. But dancing, as maybe you guys could imagine, as a lot of people could imagine, dancing is like just feels really awkward when you just do it. Don't you think? if you're gonna go just freestyle, like actually try to freestyle, right? Not just moving your shoulders and doing the little jiggle, like bobbing
Yeah.
back and forth. Actually dancing is sometimes kind of just awkward, and I think it was a really nice change to try and like challenge that and
Yeah.
to
And free yourself.
yeah. And it was really funny because both these classes, I'm the only dude in the class, so that can present a problem. So in hip hop, it was really nice because they were gender neutral at first. So we did a lot of basic stuff and basic moves. When you're doing hip hop, your shoulders are forward, your back's hunched a little bit. You're like a thug, whatever. That's how I thought of it, at least. But man, our last dance in hip hop was like a stripper song, and she's like, we walk in, and
Nice, bro.
the instructor, they're like, so this dance might be a little feminine.
Male, female instructor.
And female instructor, or sorry,
Okay.
they go by they, not he or she.
Interesting. Okay.
They said, so this dance is inherently feminine, but if you don't want it to be feminine, just don't make it feminine. And I'm just like,
Okay.
What do you mean? How do I even
What
do
does that mean?
Yeah.
Don't make it.
But yeah, it was.
But it's inherently.
I can show you.
You can't inherit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, it like has like a catwalk and it has some just really obviously feminine moves. I'll send you the clip, and it's obviously super feminine.
I want to see this.
But it's really fun. I mean, honestly, it was feminine, but come on. If you're going to learn to dance, you got to learn to be both. You got to learn to be a little feminine to shake your hips in a certain way.
I'm not disparaging. I just think it's the terminology is
You gotta
funny.
do the single ladies dance.
It is. Not quite that bad, but we'll get there one day. But jazz is a lot harder than hip hop because hip hop's so kind of personal. Like if you can do this move, you do it. Whereas jazz is a lot more technical. You got to have your shoulders this way. You got to twirl like this. It's a lot more like we do exercises to do the splits every single
That'd
week.
be hard for me.
That's
And
gotta
I
suck,
can't
man.
do the
Suck
splits.
at that.
It's like this girl's like, you just do the splits, and I'm like, I'm gonna break my legs, and
Like,
I'm
no,
gonna break your
exhausted
balls,
after
man.
warm
I
up.
don't just do the splits.
Yeah, I mean, it's most of these people are just really flexible, and I'm just so bad. So it's a good because it's training my flexibility. It's almost more of a training environment for my flexibility.
And that's why I do yoga. It's to stretch.
Yeah, yoga would be good
Be
too.
better at it.
But I don't know. Is there anything more you want to know? I mean, I just go there, I dance, I perform. Everyone asks us, me and Carly, to
How
perform.
long is it? Like, how long are you there for?
Like hour 45 minutes. It's pretty short, actually.
Okay.
We
That seems kind of long.
I don't know. I mean, it goes by fast because you do a warm up
Okay.
and you do ISOs. So every class does ISOs where you're like shaking your head back and forth. You do like your rib cage rolls. You do hip rolls, stuff like that to isolate your body.
Rib cage roll does not sound good.
Rib cage roll, does it not sound good? Have you ever seen it before?
I don't think so. No.
It's I don't know. It's just an ISO. I can show you guys.
Yeah.
I'll show you guys after we're done with the podcast, maybe.
When you stand up, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we basically learned just random songs. Hip hop art teacher would be like, "I like this song. We're gonna dance to it." We learn the choreo. We'd all do the choreo section as a part of these classes, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it was.
Is it expensive or is it like pretty affordable?
My classes were like $15 per class, so I would say it's pretty affordable.
That's nothing.
Most classes, though, were not that cheap. The place we go is near a university, so you get a lot of university students. But
Okay.
I see. Yeah.
a lot of other places are like $30 to $40 a lesson, and that's a little bit higher.
That's getting up
Yeah,
there. I
it's
mean, at
getting up
15,
there.
you're at $60 a month, so that's not
Yeah.
too
Yeah,
bad.
I was expecting like it'd be like okay, it's like $300 a month to do this.
Yeah, I mean that's like a private lesson type thing, and honestly, I loved
Yeah.
hip hop dance. I loved doing that. It was really, really, really fun. But hip hop is so good because you can just kind of do your own thing, learn dances from other on
Go with
YouTube,
the flow.
and you kind of just do it. I mean, there's technicality to it, but
Yeah.
at least you can just learn the moves on your own. Whereas jazz is a lot harder to, I would say, learn the technique on your own. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
It's really fun. I would encourage you guys to try it. I'd encourage everyone to try it because it's so awkward in the beginning. You're like, I remember learning the first couple moves.
I can't
and I
dance
was
to save my life.
I was so bad, but it's one of those things where I just kept working at it, and I was like, oh, so you move it
Yeah.
like this, and you get
Yep.
better.
And
I mean, I
your
would
confidence grows
like to
too.
be better at it. You know, that'd be nice to be able to do.
It's a good workout, and it's not even necessarily like when I learned hip hop, I'm not going into the club and dancing the choreo that I learned, but there are some moves that
Yeah.
might be kind of fun to do, like on the side. I don't know. It's just fun. It's a fun, creative way to like exercise. Dance.
I mean that's why I do yoga really, because
Mhm.
like it's a creative way to exercise, and you can go. There's different parts and sides of yoga. I mean, there's like the whole yogi namaste thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Spiritual side.
I'm not so much into that. I go into it for a workout
Mhm.
and as an exercise, and as that, it's very good. I mean, like you're you'll stretch in certain ways that like, wow, I'm really hitting a certain muscle group that you never activate. It's really nice to get to it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
that's just what I like to do that way.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's also kind of a performance thing. So that's what I liked in band. Yeah. It's like a performance. So when you do the choreo and you put it all together, it like tickles that fickle is what I'll say. I don't know why I couldn't find a better way to say that. But
tickles that fickle.
It tickles that. It like tickles that itch. I don't know. Or
scratches that itch?
Scratch. Wait, scratches that itch. There you go. Yeah, I don't know.
Tickles that fickle. Fun. I'm gonna start using that.
Cool.
That's great.
I mean, that's cool that you're doing that. I mean, I think it's cool that you're going out and doing these just different things.
Yeah.
It really just stemmed from we had some time and we wanted to do more things. I just want to do more things. Like we weren't. I didn't have a lot on my plate. So
that goes back to our limited amount of time.
And
might as well just do it.
Yeah, and Japanese is great because that stemmed from we went to Japan. We all loved it. I would love to actually have a conversation or be a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to go back to Japan with you now.
Yeah, get more engrossed in the culture. So, and then dance, like, I don't know. It's fun. It's applicable. It's a good time. So, and that's something where it's when I'm 40 and I try to do a dance class, that might be a little bit more awkward. So let's just do it now.
Yeah, right. I gotcha.
And you can be like, a Renaissance man. You'll have a little bit of experience in like everything, right?
There we go.
That's the whole point.
Let's start breaking out those moves on 50.
Yep.
Dang. Is there anything else you want to bring up, Michael?
Nah, I think we can.
I think we covered everything, man. That was good.
We covered way more than I was expecting to.
Right?
Yeah, I just wanted to catch up with you guys because I feel like we haven't caught up on our life going on in a while. So
and there's been a lot going on.
There's been a lot
going on. So I'm glad we got to do that. It has a very pretty chill, calm episode here. I think
next episode's gonna be crazy. I'm gonna think of a crazy topic. It's gonna be nuts.
Well, next episode. Are we doing our box?
We already know. We're repeating our box snack tasting, but we'll have a beautiful guest on named Carly, and she will
start earning those brownie points now.
Yeah, I know. She will be with us tasting Japanese snacks. We've got some really good content. We've been watching an anime recently. Should I tell you which one we've been watching?
Yeah, hint.
Should I tell you which one? Should I? It is not a romance or rom-com or any slice of life. It is not even close to that. It is much more stereotypical anime.
Berserk.
Stereotypical anime. Oh, shoot. Kill a Kill? That'd be funny.
Okay, not that. It's a little bit more grounded than that. Should I let you guys guess or should I let you guys wait until we talk about it next week?
Let's wait.
Let's wait. I'll have to wait. I think
it'll be kind of a surprise. It's she's been enjoying it, and yeah, I'm excited to see how she likes the rest of it.
Well, cool. I'm excited too. I think this is the first time we've actually promoted a future episode.
I know. It'll be fun. It'll be a non-anime user or a non-anime's perspective on anime plus Japanese snacks. So we'll have a lot of stuff going on.
Non-weeb's perspective.
Non-weeb's perspective. Yep. Not for long. She'll be a weeb. We'll get there. I don't think she can
Carly's
handle
like,
it.
No.
Yeah, I think she's got...
This has been fun.
Yeah.
I think that's where we'll end it today. Everyone, thanks for listening to Almost a Podcast. I think... Hey, we have a Twitch channel now.
Yeah,
we
advertise that. Plug that
once.
Shit.
We have a stream once. We might stream more. Twitch.tv /
Almost Podcast.
Almost a Podcast.
Yeah. So
check us out. I clipped the thing I did when I killed I squad wiped somebody.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think I've ever done better than in that moment. So
let's
check
go.
that out.
Yeah. Well, right now we stream pretty randomly, so you won't catch us at a schedule. But,
there's no schedule. It's just like, but there's previous
here's
streams
the thing.
up there.
If we get 20 people on a stream or 20 people to watch our stuff, I say we add a schedule. I say we stream regularly.
Schedules are so tough.
But then we can. But if we've got that 20 people, then we're the top 10% of Twitch. Top 10%.
50 people.
50
people.
That's like top 1%.
I'll come up with a schedule.
That's like top. We gotta start advertising this then. All right.
Well, there's our advertisement. Everyone, thanks for listening. This has been Almost a Podcast. One day we will get there. And
like and subscribe, please.
All right.
Oh boy.
Peace out, guys.
Like and subscribe.